There's a secret in California right now. It just came about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago at the most, but people are just starting to figure it out.
Hi, my name is Danny Fitzgerald. I'm a real estate developer. Every time you watch my channel, I'm going to give you tips on real estate and how to make you richer. Biggest secret ever is never sell.
Never, ever sell. Because in 10 years it's going to double, and 10 years again it's going to double. 20 years from now, you want to retire, surf all the time, you're going to have so much income from this. The rents are going to double, and the fucking thing's going to triple in value. I promise.
And throughout history, real estate doubles every 10 years throughout history. If you start from 1930 to 1940 to 1950, it just keeps doubling. From 1970 to 1980, it tripled, you know? It's gonna go up every year. Sure, you'll have your down years where it goes down a little bit, it pops right back up again.
You never sell the property because it spins off income. You always want to keep the income and the property. That's the most important thing.
Set your destiny, buy real estate, and then live in your home forever. You know, die in the home you buy, or in another home, but you just want to own real estate, you don't want to rent, you know?
So you just wanna hold on to it and let it make you money. Let it work for you. Real estate will work for you as long as you have real estate. That's the most important thing. Never sell your real estate.
You know, what would you say I should do to really get into real estate in my area, no matter where I am?
Well, it depends on your area. You know, it basically helps to put close to 25% down. In a cheaper home area, you can get away with 10% down first time buyer, sometimes even 5% down, but you have to have a good job. You have to show good income. Just save up some money, or put a friend together, buy 50-50, or 4 people together, buy 25% each. 30% down on something 300,000, or 25% down on something 400,000, or 20% down on something 500,000. You need to have at least 100,000 and a good job to buy your first house for anywhere under 500,000. In a cheaper home area, you can get away with 10% down first time buyer, sometimes even 5% down. Buy anything right now, chances are in 10 years it'll double. So you'll have double the value of what you paid for it.
Started in the valley, building houses with guest houses, and then moved on to big mansions.
You thought, well, oh my God, I'm buying this house for 500,000. What am I gonna do? Well, you bought the house for with 100,000 down, you owe 400. Now in 10 years, you only owe 300 on it, okay? But now it's worth $1 million, okay? It just doubled in value. An average working person, maybe they can only get 2 or 3 houses in their lifetime. But when they retire, those 2 or 3 houses bring them in the money and they're set for life.
Because how old are you?
I'm 30.
You're 30, I'm 60, so 59. So I've learned the hard way, okay? Everything I sold, I could just... How many houses with guest houses in the valley did you build when you first started?
Probably 20.
And what'd you do with those houses with guest houses?
I made a mistake, I sold them.
I had a house in Hawaii, North Shore, 30,000 per lot, sold there in D-Land. And I sold it for fucking 900. And I had 2 million in it, but I was like desperate for money, like an idiot. And now it's worth 70 million.
Oh my
fucking
God.
stupid. I only sold it 20 years ago. Went from 900 to 7 million, okay?
When I was 18 years old, I might have been 17, I went to an auction and bought my first house. Luckily, I had saved up about 7,000. My parents had 11,000 saved. They took a second out of their house. So I had 20,000 down, and I went to an auction on a house for 65,000 in Granada Hills. It had a huge yard. I really wanted it, the big yard. And it had an extra garage in back. It had a 3-car garage in back and a 2-car garage in front. So I was able to buy that house with the $20,000 down. We had to pay $72,000 for it in the auction. It was supposed to go for 65. Well, I put 20,000 in the home, and then it was appraised at 330. I borrowed against it and started building other homes. During that process, I rented rooms to my friends. I always had a bunch of roommates renting to bring in the income, and then I built a guest house in back, and I had that rented out for $1,000 back then. A lot of money back then, but I made a really nice guest house. And that's what you need to do. You need to buy anything you can, rent the rooms out for extra income, and then build a guest house in back. That's the best advice you could ever get.
My first 2 lots was on Deepdale right here. I bought one for 160 and one for 110. The flat one turned out to be the bad one because it was on fill and I didn't realize that. That's when I learned that you better get a geology report before you buy the land. and then the other one was on a hillside, which was actually way easier to build. Built them both for $1 million each, and the day they were done, Eva Longoria bought the first one right here for 3.6. Little John bought the second one right here for 3.7 and made a huge return on my money.
So save, and buy real estate. That's the best thing you can do. Figure out a way to buy your first house, okay? And then rent the rooms out for additional income. You could rent rooms out depending on what area you're in, but you could get a lot of money for the room. So rent the rooms out and then try and build a guest house in back. As soon as you have all the rooms rented out, you own it, design a guest house for the back. Could be up to 1,200 square feet, 4 bedrooms I would do, 4-bedroom guest house in the backyard, and then go to the bank, borrow the money for that. Build a guest house in back.
And don't borrow against it if you can help it, but if you borrow against it to buy other property, that's okay. But don't borrow against it for dumb things. You know? If you have the balls to get it and pay the expenses of getting it, all the fees, the points, the escrow fees, the loan fees, all the bullshit fees they charge you here and now, it's fucking good, our state. Our state kills you on fees. And once you get that property, before you realize it, you spent 6, 7, 8% on fees. If you sell it, you're gonna spend 10% on fees. There's 20%. Don't do it. You got it now, keep it.
That inherits anything from me will only inherit an income from the properties, which will be amazing income.
I want my grandchildren to have income forever. Nothing can ever be sold. It must be handed down to the grandkids, and keep being handed down as an income stream versus somebody just selling it. Income is always better than a short-term clump of cash. You just want to keep the income going. And the reason you have these homes is because I built them very strong. I built them out of steel and concrete and glass, and they were made to last. And I like to build all steel homes or all concrete homes. Wood is not the best thing, and it's actually, not even that cheap anymore because wood's gone up a lot in price. So I like to make all steel homes. They can't get termites, better than earthquakes, and they're just much stronger, and they could last 1,000 or more years, and you want to do steel homes. I think it's probably 25% more to build from the beginning, but you get more space out of them. You don't use as much height because average ceiling is 18 inches in a regular wood house, and my steel ceilings are 6 inches. So you're saving over a foot every floor. And when you have these 5-story homes, 1 foot per floor is 5 feet in ceiling height. It's a big deal. And that is why you get to enjoy the income from these homes. Please take care of them, but always keep the maintenance upright so you can will them to your grandkids. Whatever you have then for social media in the next 200 years, make lots of videos and talk to your grandkids like I'm talking to you, so everyone will learn. Always educate everybody how to take care of the family fortune, because probably by the time you inherit this, it'll be worth $1 billion or more. So take good care of it.
You always have to deal with the city and stuff like that?
I mean, all the time. You're always dealing with different departments, police or the fire department or the health department. So now I have to hire a lawyer and fight them to no end because I will not accept their ticket. Once you accept their ticket, then that's a strike against you. Then you accept another ticket, that's 2 strikes against you. Then you have a 3rd strike and you're in big trouble. So you gotta watch the city. They're always trying to get you. So they wanna get you with 3 strikes on the same thing. So if I had 3 unruly gatherings, they'd probably try and take my house away. I don't know, they're just really bad. We have too much regulation in our city.
In Knoxville, Tennessee, do you have to worry about getting 3 strikes against you? Should you make sure you block that 1st strike with all your might?
Anywhere, never accept a ticket for anything because you just don't want to have a strike against you for anything. This is really important,
It's best to save up as much as you can and then don't put it in the bank, put it in real estate, The bank is appreciation and the devaluation of the dollar goes down faster than the bank gives you in the money in the bank. So what that means is the bank gives you like maybe 2% right now interest, but our money goes down in value about 4 to 5% because they print money up. So you actually lose about 2.5% putting your money in the bank. In real estate, it goes up an average of about 6 to 10% a year. So that's a good hedge against inflation. There's a secret in California right now. It just came about maybe 1.5 to 2 years ago at the most, but people are just starting to figure it out. It's called ADU. So additional dwelling unit. Now that additional dwelling unit you can put in your backyard. People love guest houses, they really love them. They're quiet and they're nice. and you can build it up to 1,200 square feet, 2-story, some places even 3-story, but you could do a 2-story, and I would do it 4-bedroom, more bedrooms always the better, more to rent out. And then you can probably get 5,000 in a nice neighborhood for that, or more in certain neighborhoods.
Just hold it and plan for your retirement. You're gonna be 60 before you know it, and you're gonna want to surf till you're 100, so you need income.
Right.
That's the deal.
That was the goal. That was
That's
the
the
goal.
goal.
Cool, man. Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you, bud.
So this is a new all-metal house being built on Pacific Avenue, right by the beach. And it's a raw lot, so there's nothing on it. We're gonna cut a big basement with shoring, so we can get about 2,300 feet underground, which is a lot of square footage in a prime neighborhood like the Marina del Rey, right next to the beach. So that's why the basement is kind of valuable, but it does cost about $250,000 to put the basement in. We have to do a geology report to make sure the groundwater is at the right place, and luckily on this one, the groundwater is 15 feet below, which is perfect. We have to make sure there's nothing like oil wells on it or any other thing wrong. So the whole geology report goes through and gets approved by the city. Then we go to the Venice Pacific Plan and make sure Venice is okay with it in their envelope. Then we go to the Coastal Commission and make sure they're okay with it in their envelope. Then we go to the city and then they have to approve it. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I got more good stuff coming for you on the next video.